Welcome to the Rebuilt Man podcast. I'm your host and founder, Coach Frank Rich, and we are so excited to have you here with us today. Welcome to our Q&A series. If this is your first time joining us on this series, this is where we unpack your questions. So the questions that we will go through here today will be directly from the audience, the listenership, and the men inside of our Rebuilt Man community. So first and foremost, welcome. If you're new, make sure to subscribe. Hit that notification button if you're watching us here on YouTube so you're notified every single time a new episode is released. Before we dive into the question here today, if you have something that you want answered, if you're struggling your way through finding freedom in porn, if you're on the other side of it and you're curious what to do now that you're walking as a free man, you can drop the comments or drop the questions down in the comment section below here on YouTube. You can email questions over to frank@rebuiltrecovery.com, or if you're inside the Rebuilt Man community on School, you can send those messages and questions directly to Coach Arnold. But we're going to take some time here today in unpacking some of the most important questions that men right now are struggling with. And I'm going to be joined by my brother and head coach inside the Rebuilt Man community, Coach Arnold. Welcome back to the show.
Glad to be back, as always. Let's just jump right in. So here's a good one. How do I even tell my wife I'm addicted to porn? I've hidden this for years. I'm terrified if I tell her, she'll leave or never look at me the same. How do I start the conversation the right way? I would say that's a common question.
Yeah. Small plug here. Join the Rebuilt Man community on School. Link down in the show notes below because we have multiple trainings. We just addressed this live with the men inside of our community with Coach Arnold and his amazing wife, Stephanie, because this was something that you guys had to navigate. So I'm probably going to lean heavy into you on today's episode because you had to walk this out. I overcame porn as a single man. I was in a relationship, but it wasn't a marriage. And I think that dynamic is a lot different. A couple things I will say before I pass it over to you, Arnold, is if you're at the point you're asking this question, if you're really caught up and you're already recognizing that I got to get out on the other side of this, there's a good chance, there's a good probability, almost with certainty, that your wife knows something. She knows something is off. The reality or the thought that she is clueless to your porn addiction is something we need to throw out the window. So you don't need to be afraid of telling her something that she probably is already aware. The second thing is I wouldn't recommend going to her with nothing but your problem. What I mean by that is you don't want to approach your wife and say, babe, you may or may not be aware of this. I've been struggling for a really long time and I have no clue what I'm going to do. She doesn't want to hear that. She's going to respond in the way that she's going to respond no matter what. But I would have some level of a plan moving forward of how you are going to get control of this and how you guys collectively are going to work on improving the damage that's been done to the marriage. Thirdly, here is once you begin to have these conversations, do not lean into her as your source of accountability. Do not make her the one that guards your passwords. Do not make her the one that checks your history. Every woman's going to want to handle this a little bit differently. She will have healing. She will have growth, recovery that she'll need to go through on her end. The worst thing that you can do is make her responsible for your abstinence. Make her responsible for making sure you do not slip. You're basically positioning her as a mother in your life now, and in time, you will lose all respect from her because your wife, whether or not she's got children, maybe the children have already grown and left home, she's not looking to have another one in the form of what was once her husband. So Arnold, I'll pass it to you here, but I think those are a few key kind of high level points. Let's get more kind of into the weeds here.
No, you nailed it, man. I mean, I'm going to go over those in this different way, but that's it. Yeah. Like in a nutshell, but I do want to say this guy is asking, how do I even tell my wife I'm addicted to porn? I would say he's probably lucky. And I say that because most of the time the wife finds out.
Yeah.
And then you have to, that's a way harder conversation than you kind of have the power and the ball in your court. When you go, it shows you take ownership. Like, hey, I have this problem, right? But if she finds out, then it's more of a defensive thing. So, like you said, first you figure out you have this problem. So if he's asking, how do I tell my wife I'm addicted to porn? He clearly is aware that he's addicted to porn. That's the first step, and that's good. And exactly what you said, Frank, you need to go and find a game plan. What do I do? And enroll in something, get something going, like do something toward it. Doesn't have to be perfect, but something. Like, I have this problem. And the good news is we live in an age of information, right? Ignorance is a choice nowadays. You can't say, I don't know. Like, you can literally Google up anything. You have Chat GPT, Claude, give me a 10-step plan or a 5-week plan, like anything. So you know, and that would make your wife even more frustrated, going up to her and said, I have this problem. I don't know. You're just giving her an extra mental load. So yeah, do your homework, do your due diligence, and get a plan, get something. And when you go to her, exactly like you said, okay, honey, here's what I have a confession to make. I figured out, I have been addicted to porn, these past years. I didn't realize that it's a problem, and here are the steps I took to fix them. And you tell her that. And it's not like, I'm going to start on Monday. No, you're already enrolled. It's been already a week. And that hits very differently than like, here's the problem and I don't know what to do. Because that subconsciously basically puts it on her to come up with a solution for you. And then exactly like you said, you fall into the mom matrix. And then she's going to start mothering you like, well, you need to lock down your food. You need to do this. You need to do that, because she wants to, fix you and help you. And that's like an innate desire in women to always fix and help and nurture. And that's not what you want, because once she goes into that mother mode for you, you're not going to be a husband anymore, in a sense. She's going to look at you like a boy. And then that's a lot of men complain about, like, she doesn't want to have sex with me and stuff. Well, yeah, because last time I checked, the mother doesn't want to have sex with their kids because you're looked at as a child, But if you, no matter what problem you have, if you go to her and you own it and you said, I done this, that's ownership, that's masculinity. Like, hey, we think that we can't have problems or we have to be tough all the time. Like, no, you can have problems, but the key is to own it. Like, hey, I have this problem and I'm owning it, and I've done these things. I enrolled in this. So that's the first thing I would say for sure, is to take some steps and get a plan going, get a solution, enroll into our program, right? And say, I'm on these calls. I'm doing one-on-one with Coach Frank. I'm doing something. And then she can, okay. And then
real quick, I want to touch on the framing of the question, because I'm glad you pointed that out, because we hear from men weekly, right, that the reason that they're joining is their marriage has reached the point where something is at risk. This question came in from a different framing where, like, they're not at this ultimate breaking point. And I would say that is a very positive sign in this particular case and dynamic here, right? You and I have seen it. We've had guys that have come in because things are at risk and they have all the success in the world. We're talking months, years of freedom. And for whatever reason, that marriage was at a point where it wasn't salvageable. And those episodes break my heart, right? Because I think every relationship should be redeemable. I think every human being is redeemable. I don't think there's a perfect person walking the planet. And I don't want to point fingers and blame here, but in those cases where the man has done all the work and the relationship still doesn't work out, I think that this is there's been a missing piece in the woman really taking a role in her healing through this.
Yeah.
But we've seen it. We've seen it time and time again. But the fact that this question was phrased in a way, how do I tell her, means that the porn addiction isn't causing massive blowups right now in the home. And I think that's a very positive sign, which means that if you begin to take this step, right, get enrolled in some help, you begin to have some progress, you got a plan moving forward, right? Not having problems isn't masculinity. Being a problem solver is the sign, is the trait, is the virtue of masculinity. So she's not expecting you to be perfect. She never was. She's expecting you to be safe and secure and be a problem solver when things show up in your life. And that's how you want to come into this conversation.
and own it, and about this question, there's one more thing that I thought of as you were saying this, that we have guys come in that their wives found out, and then they're taking a step because the wife was like, what are you going to do? You need to do something. And then they enroll in all these things to show her that they're working on it, versus this person who took it upon himself to self-diagnose, self-assess, and then, like I said, they're gonna enroll in something, then go to the wife. I feel like there's a higher success rate with this, because if the people who go into the program do the things because the wife said so, he's not doing it for himself, and that will never be lasting. Never. The lasting freedom comes from within, when you say, I need to become a different person, and I'm doing it for me, not for anybody else.
So spot on. And guys, at the timing of this release, we just dropped an episode on the Superhuman Life. If you didn't know, we have a whole secondary show where we bring long form interviews. This week's episode is with Nelson Whiting. He's a hypnotherapist that works with predominantly LDS men, but he's been working in the porn addiction space for quite a while. And he spoke specifically to that. In order for a man to succeed at overcoming this, a couple things need to line up and need to happen. He needs to be at a point of rock bottom. Rock bottom is perceived different for everybody, but ultimately rock bottom, described as Nelson, is the pain of staying the same outweighs the pain of change. The second thing is, in order to truly find freedom, you have to be doing it for yourself. We have a question in week 1 of the program. Why are you here? And a big part of that question is, who are you doing this for? And I want the men to find this clarity out on their own, but we guide them in the path of understanding. You have to be here for you. You have to be deciding to make this change ultimately for you. Now, because of that, other people will benefit of you changing, of you growing, of you getting free, of you becoming a better man. But the core reason why you're deciding to make change has to be intrinsic. It has to be internal for you and nobody else.
100%, because this addiction is really a disconnect from the self. And that's why once you reconnect to the self, you will no longer do things that harm you. And everybody else around you, like you said, the relationships improve as a side effect of you reconnecting to yourself and your higher self, and becoming the man you're supposed to be. I mean, that's you cannot do self work for others, right? That's why it's self. You have to do it for the self, and that's a lot of men say, I'm here for my wife, I don't want to lose my wife, and that's a valid reason, but that cannot be your reason to do the recovery work. That has to be for you. It has to be, because it won't be lasting. Because let's say if she leaves, then you're gonna go back to your old lifestyle, right? And it was Keith Yackey, actually, when his wife left him, he kind of took on coaches and like, how do I get her back, right? And did all these things. And I remember he talked about this, how he made this big realization that changed his whole perspective, and he got her back eventually. He realized, if I am to move on, I have to move on. If I were to get her back, I have to move on. And that was very powerful, because I understood exactly what he meant. Like, that's the moment when you say, regardless of what happens, I will do this for me. And once you make that decision, then everything around you will just, because everything around you reacts to you. So whenever you change yourself, the things around you will change as well. But you're trying to change the things around you, and that's not changing you, So it's very important to realize this, that you're doing this for yourself. Even if your wife brought this upon you and you enter the program because her suggestion or whatever, okay, but then make that shift in your mind that you're here for you. She pushed you to go in there to better yourself for you. And then she will benefit from you being a better person, but you will benefit first. So that's very important, because it won't be lasting. Every time you do anything for somebody else, it will never be lasting. That's why people constantly never keep the weight off when they lose weight. They never stay in shape. They keep going back to old habits, because they always do it to please somebody, or to, I don't want my wife to nag. I'm going to stop doing this for, no, that's not. Yeah.
Yeah. All these episodes, all these questions, all these answers, everything always points at a couple key things here, right? It's consistent over the years. You take personal responsibility and ownership.
Yeah.
You gotta step into problem solving mode. You got to get in a plan of execution and a framework of real transformation. Do it for yourself, but do it with other men, right? Don't try to fully conquer this on your own. Leave her where she needs to be, give her space for growth and healing, but get around other men. And guys, that's why we created the Rebuilt Man Brotherhood, is to facilitate an environment to bring like-minded men together, to bring men that understand that they want more out of life, and give them the tools and the resources and the coaching and support to accomplish that. So if you are somewhere in this journey and you are ready to make a change and you want to be in an environment that fosters freedom, that cultivates success, that brings strength and truth and real vulnerability into the discussion on a daily basis, join us inside the Rebuilt Man Brotherhood on School. You can go to school.com. That's school, SKOOL.com /reboot your life, or the link is down in the show notes below. You can join us for free, and there's a few different tiers of access once you're in the community. But to at least get plugged in, there's absolutely no charge. There's no commitment. You can poke around. You can get introduced. You can meet the coaches. You can connect with myself. You can begin to connect with the other men. So school.com, SKOOL.com /reboot your life. Continue to send us your questions in, guys. But as always, we appreciate you for hanging out with us here today. For Coach Arnold, your head coach Frank here. We love you guys. We'll see you in the next one.